When Brock Lesnar debuted in 2002, he didn't just arrive, he exploded onto the scene like a genetic freak science experiment. Lesnar's rise to the top was historically fast. Within 4 months of his debut, he won the King of the Ring tournament, and by August 2002, he had defeated The Rock at SummerSlam to become the youngest WWE champion in history at just 25 years old. This wasn't a slow burn, this was WWE strapping a rocket to their most promising prospect and lighting the fuse. At 6 feet 3 inches and 295 pounds of pure farm-raised Minnesota muscle, Lesnar looked like someone had fed steroids to a grizzly bear and taught it how to wrestle. Paul Heyman, his mouthpiece and manager, dubbed him the next big thing. And for once, WWE's hyperbole actually undersold the reality. His athletic ability was genuinely otherworldly. The sight of a man that size performing a shooting star press was both impressive and terrifying, even when it went horribly wrong at WrestleMania 19 against Kurt Angle. Lesnar's combination of amateur wrestling, raw power, and surprising agility made him unlike anything WWE had ever produced. The feuds during this period showcased different aspects of his character. His battles with The Undertaker established him as a legit badass. The Big Show rivalry proved he could destroy other big men. His trilogy with Kurt Angle, particularly their 60-minute Iron Man match on SmackDown, demonstrated that Lesnar could wrestle any style and tell any story. But by WrestleMania 20 in 2004, the cracks were showing. The infamous match with Goldberg, where both men were booed out of the building because everyone knew they were leaving, perfectly captured Lesnar's growing disillusionment with the wrestling business. He was burned out, banged up, and ready to chase new challenges. After walking away from WWE in 2004, Lesnar had a brief NFL stint with the Minnesota Vikings. When that failed, he found his calling in the UFC, where his freakish athleticism and wrestling background could dominate the competition. Lesnar's UFC debut against Frank Mir in 2008 was a learning experience that ended in submission, but it showcased his terrifying ground and pound ability. His follow-up victory over Heath Herring proved the debut wasn't a fluke, setting up the biggest fight of his career against Randy Couture for the UFC Heavyweight Championship. When Lesnar defeated Couture at UFC 91, he became the fastest wrestler to UFC champion in history. His title defenses against Frank Mir and Shane Carwin were wars that proved he belonged among the world's elite fighters. Unfortunately, diverticulitis derailed his career just as he hit his peak. His final loss to Alistair Overeem at UFC 141 was heartbreaking, but Lesnar retired from the UFC knowing he had conquered another sport at its highest level. It was time for the beast to return home, and a perfect storm was on the horizon. When Brock Lesnar returned to WWE in 2012, attacking John Cena after WrestleMania 28, he wasn't the same man who left 8 years earlier. Lesnar's new character wasn't the next big thing anymore. He was a conquering prizefighter who viewed WWE as just another payday. The immediate feud with John Cena felt like a clash of eras. Cena represented WWE's PG-era superhero, while Lesnar embodied the athletic violence of the ruthless aggression era. Their Extreme Rules match was a mauling. Lesnar dominated Cena so thoroughly that his loss felt like a technicality. The Triple H feud showcased Lesnar's new attitude perfectly. When contract negotiations broke down, Lesnar simply attacked Triple H and broke his arm, walking away like a mercenary who didn't need WWE's approval. But the defining moment came at WrestleMania 30, when Lesnar defeated The Undertaker and ended the legendary WrestleMania streak. The crowd's stunned silence said everything. This wasn't supposed to happen. The streak was untouchable, sacred, the one thing WWE would never sacrifice. Yet Lesnar shattered wrestling's most protected accomplishment, just like that. What made this era special was Lesnar's believability. His MMA credentials meant every match felt dangerous and unpredictable. He wasn't playing a character anymore. He was Brock Lesnar, a legit badass, and that authenticity translated to must-see television. Paul Heyman's return as his advocate was perfect casting. Heyman could handle the talking while Lesnar stood there looking like he could destroy everyone in the building. He wasn't just a wrestler playing tough. He was genuinely one of the most dangerous men on the planet, and WWE finally had a character who felt completely authentic. But the prizefighter's dominance was just getting started. After breaking The Undertaker's streak, Lesnar transformed into a part-time champion who felt more dangerous than any full-time performer. The defining moment came at SummerSlam 2014 when Lesnar absolutely obliterated John Cena for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. This wasn't a normal match. It was a public execution. 16 German suplexes, 2 F5s, and barely any offense from WWE's Golden Boy. Watching Cena get ragdolled like a child was genuinely uncomfortable, which made it perfect storytelling. The Beast Incarnate wasn't just a nickname anymore, it was a warning label. Suplex City became an instant meme when Lesnar ad-libbed it during his WrestleMania 31 match with Roman Reigns. His matches became exercises in controlled violence, with Lesnar systematically dismantling whoever stood across from him. The part-time schedule actually enhanced his mystique. When Lesnar showed up, it felt like a special event because he wasn't overexposed. His sporadic appearances made every encounter feel special, whether he was F5ing announcers or casually eliminating the entire Wyatt family from the Royal Rumble. His feuds during this period were built around one simple question: who could possibly survive Brock Lesnar? The answer, more often than not, was nobody. Dean Ambrose got demolished at WrestleMania 32. Randy Orton suffered a legitimate head injury at SummerSlam 2016 that required 10 staples. This version of Lesnar redefined what a dominant champion looked like. The Beast Incarnate era proved that sometimes less is more, but this wasn't even his final form. After defeating Goldberg at WrestleMania 33 for the Universal Championship, Brock Lesnar entered his most dominant and controversial period. Like Marvel's Thanos, this version of Lesnar felt inevitable, unstoppable, and genuinely threatening to everyone around him. His 504-day Universal Championship reign wasn't just long, it was suffocating. Lesnar's title defenses read like a highlight reel of dominance. Samoa Joe, despite his legitimate tough guy credentials, couldn't touch him. The Fatal 4-Way at SummerSlam 2017 saw Lesnar pin Roman Reigns while barely breaking a sweat. Even Braun Strowman, WWE's other monster, fell victim to the Beast's superiority. The part-time champion criticism reached fever pitch during this era, but it actually enhanced Lesnar's final boss mystique. When he disappeared for months at a time, the Universal Championship disappeared with him. His sporadic appearances on Raw felt like a video game boss emerging from his lair. His matches became formulaic but effective. The wins against Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins was peak Thanos Brock, absorbing everything WWE's chosen successors could dish out before retaining the title in brutal fashion. The Drew McIntyre loss at WrestleMania 36 finally ended the reign, but not before Lesnar had essentially held WWE's top championship hostage for over a year. This era cemented Lesnar as wrestling's ultimate mercenary. But what happened next showed the entire wrestling world a completely different side of Brock Lesnar. When Brock Lesnar returned at SummerSlam 2021, the transformation was immediately apparent. Gone was the part-time mercenary. In his place stood a bearded, ponytailed cowboy who looked like he'd stepped off his farm and into the ring. Cowboy Brock felt loose, happy, and surprisingly likable. The man who had terrorized WWE for years was now cracking smiles, high-fiving fans, and embracing his role as a babyface for the first time since 2004. The beard and ponytail gave him an almost mythical quality, like a lumberjack who could also suplex you into oblivion. His renewed rivalry with Roman Reigns produced some of their best work together. The last man standing match at SummerSlam 2022 was a war between two main eventers at the peak of their powers. The brief feuds with Bobby Lashley showcased two top-tier athletes beating the hell out of each other. The Cody Rhodes trilogy brought out a different side of Cowboy Brock. His heel turn during this feud felt organic rather than forced, showing that even this more relaxed version could flip the switch when storylines demanded it. The Night of Champions victory via Kimura Lock proved he could still be the final boss when necessary. A scandal surrounding Vince McMahon has written Lesnar off WWE programming since 2024, but when the mayor of Suplex City re-emerges from the shadows, there will be destruction on a whole other level. From fresh-faced rookie to UFC champion to wrestling's ultimate final boss, Brock Lesnar's career represents the rare successful crossover between sports entertainment and combat sports. At first glance, it was clear that this man was no ordinary human. In an age where people get inspired by anime characters, this guy was literally the inspiration behind an anime character. But what makes Lesnar special isn't just his physical gifts or his championship accolades, it's his ability to make everything feel real in an increasingly scripted world. Whether he was the next big thing, the UFC champion, or the Beast Incarnate holding championships hostage, Lesnar never broke character because he essentially never had one. Brock Lesnar didn't just evolve with the times, he forced the wrestling business to evolve around him, and that's what makes him truly special.